Hey guys, home from the PCT. I'm actually up here in New Hampshire. My regular house is down on Cape Cod, but I ran into some special circumstances there. My wife is a leader in the dog rescue group down on Cape Cod, and the town wanted the dog shelter to be shut down. So we fostered as many dogs as we could, and then my wife brought a dog home. But I have two dogs, and one of them is poorly behaved. He's had a traumatic life, and we're the third owner, if you will, and so he doesn't get along with many dogs other than my other girl dog. So I was pretty fortunate. I left my wife and that dog at home, and I brought my two dogs and myself up here to New Hampshire. I'm in the White Mountains. I'm, in fact, very close to the Appalachian Trail, and this week I've been hiking. I've got a little bit of a face burn now because the weather's been fabulous. When I arrived, the night before I arrived, or the night I arrived, there was a foot of snow, which is a little unusual, but it put a lot of snow on the trails and in the woods, which my two Samoyeds love. And so I'm going to be here for, 1 to 3 weeks, depending upon the situation back home. And so I'm just trying to make the best of it. I've just been out with my dogs hiking in the woods, hiking on the AT, and enjoying all of it. So here I am. Talk to you soon. This is Cannon Mountain. A couple of days ago, a foot of snow came down. The mountain was closed due to the virus, but occasionally you can see some people who have skinned up and now are skiing down, which is a great workout and amazing thrill. And this is Echo Lake in the foreground. I kayak and swim here in the summer. The mountain behind us, Cannon, is closed outside of the ski season, and the majority of the times I'm kayaking on this lake, I can see black bears roaming on those hills, which is amazing. It's just a beautiful spot up here in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, especially with my baby just taking a rest here. Here we're on the AT. This is the trail to Mount Liberty, as well as Mount Flume, which is adjacent to it. Yeah, it's a pretty steep hike. Folks who have hiked the AT or just locals will know this trail. It inspires sweat, and there's the white blaze, which is something very comforting to AT hikers. We're going to head back. When we came this way, we're on our way back now. Ours were the only tracks in the snow. But yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful area to be hiking. Stop pulling me, girl. Hey, Cam, say goodbye. Look at me and say goodbye. Okay, so here's the next thing I got to talk about. I was challenged by my good hiking friend from the Appalachian Trail, Probation Termination, known to most folks as PT, a great guy that I hiked with, I think down in Tennessee and in Virginia, and have the distinction of getting PT and myself lost for several miles, which longer than I had ever been lost on the AT in pouring, freezing rain. And I happened to do it to PT, but no matter. He forgave me, didn't incarcerate me because he is a law enforcement officer, retired law enforcement officer. But he recently challenged me, as others challenged him, talking about the luxuries on the trail. And I have a few. I got some pictures back in the house. Some of them are just pictures because I left them behind when I left Cape Cod to come up here to New Hampshire. In any case, my luxury items are a larger battery, a 20,000 milliamp anchor, and a much more powerful Anchor wall charger. And the reason I got the reason for the much more powerful wall chargers, if you're in and out of towns, you need to be able to charge your battery fast, and a 20,000 milliamp battery takes a long time. The reason I got the 20,000 milliamp battery is I thought I could be on trail for more days in a row than I was on the AT, where I had a 13,000 milliamp battery, which frankly worked fine. Both of the wall charger and the battery are a lot heavier. I did take both of those on the PCT. Didn't really test them though, because I was only there for a week. The second thing was my separate GSI coffee cup, which I love. It weighs about 3.5 ounces. I did leave that behind at the last moment, and the reason is I needed to take my microspikes, having listened to a recent San Jacinto trail report. There was snow and ice on Mount San Jacinto, which was, I believe, at about mile 170. And I thought I'd be able to forego my 12 to 13 ounce microspikes until I got to Kennedy Meadows, but that wasn't the case. So something went in my pack, the microspike, something went out of the pack, which is the GSI coffee cup, and that wasn't the only thing that went out of my pack. The other thing that went out of my pack was my camp shoes. I started my AT hike with Crocs, like these babies. I'm now standing barefoot in the snow, so that's not good. And I switched to another pair of camp shoes that I'll show you. I've got a picture inside that were only half the weight, but frankly, I still ditched them because I was so concerned about extra weight. So my coffee cup and the camp shoes were left behind. The one thing that the last potential luxury item, as some people describe it, including Mike Lawrence, is a pillow. I have a Trichology pillow just like Mike Lawrence. I did not leave that behind. I took it. It weighs 3 to 4 ounces. When I hiked the AT, I started with a pillow, but I ditched it after it deflated and I couldn't fix it and didn't want to buy another one. I just used some clothes under my head. Now, that later proved to be a mistake, because by the time I finished the AT, I had a pinched nerve in my neck. Now, almost 2 years later, I still have a pinched nerve in my neck, and my hand is numb, and I've had physical therapy, I've had injections in my spine and my neck, and if I want to do anything more aggressive, the doctor told me that would be cervical fusion, which is pretty dang serious. So I'm not doing that. I'll live with some discomfort, but for me, and maybe for other folks, a pillow is essential. So the pillow, the larger battery, and the larger wall charger were my luxury items that I took. My coffee cup and my camp shoes were the ones that I just ditched at the last minute just because I was anxious about weight. So there you go, and I'll show a picture of them once I run back in the house and dig up those pictures.